gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
A Gilbert man accused of killing his friend and then dismembering his lifeless body is now under arrest. Investigators say Samuel Bush killed Alijah Bradley. Court records show that Bradley was first reported missing by his mother last month.
So you have a young white male who took the life of this 24-year-old mixed race brother named Alijah Bradley. And apparently they were best friends. And he ends up taking his life. I mean, this is absolutely disturbing, and the way that he dealt with this young man is almost unbelievable.
3 days later, police, along with Maricopa County Sheriff's Office deputies, found the missing man's SUV in the desert right in the area of Gila Bend. They also found his severed body. It was in separate plastic bags in the area. Very disturbing. Bush denied he had anything to do with his friend's death, but admitted Bradley came over the night he disappeared. So detectives got a search warrant for Bush's apartment, and that is where they discovered an electric saw with blood on it that matched the victim's blood. Investigators believe the suspect shot his friend in the back before cutting his head off.
Wow, so he shot him in the back before cutting his head off. I mean, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. This is what is going on in this country. I mean, we have an epidemic of violence coming from young people and older people, but in this video we're mainly focusing on young people. This is an unspeakable crime. These glider gremlins are on demon time.
Judge set the bond at $1.5 million cash.
The worst details that we've heard recently, and all of the developments we've learned today took a lot of uncovering bit by bit because some of the case documents were sealed today. But we now know when Alijah Bradley was reported missing in mid-August, his remains were actually out near Gila Bend. His family now trying to piece together how and why the successful engineer was allegedly murdered by his childhood friend. Alijah Bradley had recently celebrated his 24th birthday. A recent NAU grad and project engineer, often seen smiling and joyous in pictures like this, how his family remembers him. They struggle to understand his recent murder, leading to the arrest of a friend Alijah trusted.
You hear about this like on podcasts and stuff, and like you never think it would happen to somebody that you love.
A close relative of Alijah's, who asked to remain anonymous, says they reported Alijah missing to the Gilbert Police Department on August 15th. He missed work, and unusually, his mom hadn't heard from him either. They say Alijah's mom had the Life 360 app on her phone and tracked her son's phone to a place they knew.
She signed back in and saw that his last location was at Sam's apartment, and then all of a sudden his phones were just off.
Samuel Stephen Bush, April 27th, 2001.
The relative says 23-year-old Samuel Bush was a childhood friend of Alijah's, but when confronted about Alijah's phone pinging their last, told his family he didn't know where Alijah was. That's when Alijah's family called Toyota to see if they could get the GPS coordinates of his car, which they relayed to police.
They gave him the coordinates that the car was in the middle of nowhere.
The desolate desert near Gila Bend, a new lead for police. That's where they not only found his car, but the remains of Alijah Bradley on August 19th, days after he was reported missing. This relative describes what they were told about the conditions, far more heinous than expected.
I was told his cause of death was getting shot in the back, and that they found him without his head. And something so cruel and so graphic, Like, it's almost crazy to think that somebody is capable of doing that.
Sam Bush was arrested a day after the discovery, but at that point only for growing and distributing marijuana and mushrooms from his apartment. Then, just yesterday, slapped with second-degree murder and concealing body parts charges too.
Wow. So, I mean, I'm surprised that this story isn't making more headway. This is, in fact, a interracial murder. So, you know, I told you guys that I'd be covering all interracial murders that I could find in the United States this year, and this is one of them, one of the more gruesome ones, this time white on mixed race, but most people would consider him black. So this is very concerning. I'm surprised it didn't make national headlines. I'm surprised that the NAACP isn't all over this. I'm surprised that Ben Crump isn't all over this case. You know, was it racially motivated? I don't know. Apparently they were best friends, so it's really hard to say, but this is absolutely disgusting. And wow, I just I'm at a loss for words. How can you do that to somebody who you call a friend?
As for a motive, Elijah's family is completely confused.
We honestly don't know. He was Sam's best friend. He was Sam's only friend.
While they hope to understand more in the coming weeks, they are choosing to celebrate a life well lived, a life that was just getting started.
Just how accomplished he was, and how successful he was going to be, or he could have been.
Samuel Bush is now being held on a $1.5 million cash-only bond, an extremely high bond for a second-degree murder charge. Guys, there's so much to this.
Just the details that authorities told the family member is heartbreaking. To hear it as a complete stranger, I can't imagine as a loved one having to hear that. I know that they want so many more answers. Do they know what exactly detectives, what they were able to lead to the suspect there to make that arrest?
So that's what we don't know, because that information specifically was sealed in those court documents. So it could be anything from DNA that tied them together. It could be cell phone evidence. It could be other data that was driven to that location. It could be surveillance video. It could be a combination of all of those things. And we're hoping to learn that soon. Of course, for the family, they want all the answers too. And they have started a GoFundMe page to raise money for his funeral expenses and for his mom, who is grieving right now. We'll have that link on our website.
Yeah, I mean, good on the family for doing everything they did to locate him, to
Had
call
they not-
the car
Toyota.
company. Yeah, but otherwise I have no words for this. This is
just it's pretty brutal.
Yep. Thank you.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
At 10, what happened to Alijah Bradley?
The Gilbert man was found dead in Gila Bend days after he was reported missing, and a man who his family says was his best friend was arrested for his murder. But the circumstances surrounding his death remain unclear tonight. Our Lillian Donahue sat down with his family, sharing more on who he was and what he leaves behind.
Very full-spirited, very confident, and very goofy.
Sweet memories.
He liked to laugh. He loved to laugh, and he got that from his mom.
And adventurous. He loved going on adventures.
Sit alongside unimaginable grief.
It's devastating.
After the death of 24-year-old Alijah Bradley.
He was just beginning his adulthood, graduating from NAU, his future ahead of him.
Bradley's aunt and cousin say he went missing a day after his birthday on August 11th, his mother sounding the alarm.
He was supposed to reach out to her the next day after they spent time, and he didn't.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office found Bradley's body east of Gila Bend. That's more than an hour drive from Gilbert.
Wow.
His family says he has no reason to be out that way and weren't aware of any conflict.
Why would anyone do this?
Wednesday, authorities arrested 23-year-old Samuel Bush for his alleged murder. Multiple family members confirmed with ABC 15 Bush and Bradley were best friends.
I don't feel a relief of anything because
It doesn't bring him back.
It doesn't fix anything.
So, I would really be interested in looking at the social media posts of this, the glider gremlin who deleted, murdered this young black man. Let's keep it a buck. Okay. Yeah, man, I would definitely be interested, because I just don't understand how you go from being best friends with this young man into wanting to shoot him in the back. I mean, obviously that's just like a coward move. And then beheading your best friend. How could you have the stomach to do something like this? But man, could it be social media radicalization? I genuinely don't know. I don't know, but they could have had a disagreement about something. But man, RIP to Alijah. This is absolutely a horrific crime.
But what exactly happened remains sealed in court documents. This happens when prosecutors need to protect sensitive information during an active investigation. It's unclear why the details have been sealed.
No, we just love him.
So they're sealing a lot of information, which I presume because if maybe his motive got out to the public, then it would be a big issue. So I don't know the motive behind sealing the documents or what's coming out in the interrogation. But like I said, if it was somehow racially motivated, this could turn into a national story. And that would be something that I could see the local officials not wanting to get out and present their city in that light.
We miss him.
His family focusing on the love and memories he leaves behind as a son, a husband, cousin, and nephew taken far too soon.
And life will never be the same again.
His mother sharing a heartbreaking message through text.
I am broken and have to live my life knowing my son doesn't get to experience this life. I'm committing my life to obtaining justice for my son.
ABC 15 is committed to following up on information in this case as it's released. Reporting in Gilbert, Lillian Donahue, ABC 15, Arizona.
I'm committing my life to obtaining justice for my son.
ABC 15 is committed to following up on information in this case as it's released.
Yeah, and we'll follow up on this thing too, because I am very interested to see what the motive was. Did they get into a dispute? Did they get into an argument? What was going on with their relationship that, had this guy wanting to do this? Oh man, like I said, we are in a violence crisis in the United States, and this is another example, an interracial murder. These glider gremlins are on demon time.
Reporting in Gilbert, Lillian Donahue, ABC 15, Arizona.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.